Do you think you have what it takes to be a submariner? The US Navy deploys 3 submarine classes: the 170.69-meter Ohio-class, the 107.6-meter Seawolf-class, and the 115-meter Virginia-class. Not for the claustrophobic perhaps, but otherwise livable, or so it seems. Now imagine sharing that tight space with about 150 other people on deployments that last months at a time with little or no outside communication, and you have your basic submariner's lifestyle. It can be hard to get along with other people in such close proximity for 6 months at a time, especially when you'll likely need to wind up sharing your bed with someone else. Submarines only have a limited space to store their weapons, supplies, and essential systems. In fact, the nuclear reactor on a submarine takes up a third of its total space, so conditions on the vessel are even more cramped than its dimensions suggest. Personal space is therefore an oxymoron on a submarine, and this fact extends even to the most intimate of settings. Unlike their naval counterparts on surface ships, submariners do not even get their own beds, as there is simply not enough room for each crew member to have a unique bed. For example, the Virginia-class submarine only has 94 beds for its crew of 135 members. The crew must therefore rotate in and out, with some members on duty and others taking their chance for sleep in the downtime. Each sailor has an 8-hour shift of duty. Submarines are often unsanitary. Even going to the bathroom is difficult. Flushing the toilet sends waste to one of 3 sanitary tanks that are meant to eventually discharge outside the vessel and into the sea. However, if the valves involved in the process of discharging are not lined up correctly, the urine and excrement are sent somewhere else on the vessel, which can include the kitchen. The cramped nature of a submarine naturally lends itself to argument and conflict. Even disciplined sailors might find it tough to cope. Successful submariners must get along with one another though, because they won't be able to talk to anyone else for a long time. Surface ships which patrol the blue oceans don't have constant internet access, but submerging beneath the waves brings communication difficulties into a league of their own. Forget taking calls, much less going on Skype or Zoom. Even emails can't get out most of the time, and submarines can spend as many as 90 days of their deployments completely submerged. So submariners can disappear for months on end to their friends and family members back home, which probably adds a lot of stress to marriages. With such cramped conditions and sparse communications for months on end, submariners need to have something to pass the time, and watching TV is not an option. Instead, crew members often participate in rituals. One of them includes running through a gauntlet of ice-cold water hoses, sometimes with urine in the mixture, while holding an M&M to place in a comrade's belly button at the end of the journey. Another ritual includes the male sailors dressing up as women and performing stripteases. Yep, anything to relieve the boredom. Fortunately, modern submarines have good air conditioning and climate control systems, so submariners don't have the weather to add to their woes, most of the time. It was not always so, and even now there is great danger in the rare possibility that the vessel's climate control systems fail. One such incident occurred in 2011, when a Royal Navy submarine patrolling in the Indian Ocean saw its air conditioning fail. Temperatures on the vessel rose rapidly, reaching 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and many of the crew collapsed. The captain ordered the submarine to dive over 200 meters deep into the water, which finally brought the temperatures down, but it was a close call for everyone on board. There is one perk to being a submariner. The kitchens aboard one serve up the best food in the military: baked lobster tails, beef rice soup with baked potatoes, fresh oven-baked bread, and for dessert, French pastries. In fact, the Culinary Institute of America, one of the top chef schools in the country, often finds submarine cooks enrolled in its students' list. Unfortunately, if you're a submariner, you won't have much time to savor the dishes in front of you, because the eating conditions are just as cramped as the sleeping quarters. The mess decks need to be small to save space, and can usually accommodate only between 6 and a dozen people at a time. With crew members waiting behind at any given moment, eating time is limited, because they need to eat also. Because the job is so tough, submarines are an all-volunteer setting, and crew members wear their service badge with honor. They deserve at least that much.